Hello everyone, Quinn here, and today I'm going to be making what is hands down one of the most detailed videos I've done in a very long time, if not ever. And it's going to be on Marvel Rivals at that. So, with season 1.5 going on right now, I wanted to do a detailed comparison of the changes from season 1 to season 1.5. And this is going to deal with mostly just the balance changes and team up changes. So, first on the list here with the Vanguard, it's going to be Captain America. The arguably most biggest change they did to him is allowing him to be able to block while he does his super jump. So this changes a lot for Cap, as it really helps with his ability to go in and out of a fight more consistently, which is one of Cap's specialties here, being able to brawl, then dive on someone in the back line, and then come right back to help out his teammates. You also have a change here to his ability to jump and punch, whereas previously he wasn't able to do that quite as accurately as you'd prefer. You'd have to kind of look more high up into the air, as if you look too far down the ground, it would force him to do a slam. So now you could just hit the melee button and not your primary attack button to choose whether you want to slam or punch. Now this is also great for those of you Cap maniacs who know how to do a secret little combo that has to do with him being able to do his super jump and then punch at the same time. So for those of you who know, this is going to make that even easier to pull off. Now, next up we have the throw speed of his shield. They increased his throw speed, so now he'll be able to throw that even faster. In addition to that, whenever Cap punches someone that has his additional shield throws charged up, he now has the ability to again press his melee, not his primary attack button, to cancel those extra charges. So this would be great for, like you've seen before with Magneto, where instead of you kind of getting screwed over and not being able to damage him while he has his shield up, you'll be able to keep doing your melee attack and punch through his shield, as opposed to being able, well, I'm sorry, being forced to throw your shield at him and just have him suck at that damage so you can potentially get away. So that is definitely a great change that I have ever enjoyed that they added into the game. Now they mentioned some changes about being able to punch during his shield being tossed. I'm not seeing it. This is the before clip. You obviously couldn't do it, and then you'll be seeing an after clip with both his team up and just his normal throw, where again you couldn't do it. So maybe again you Cap mains would be able to post the comments explain that a little better. That might have actually been something that was in a leak patch notes that actually didn't make it into the game itself. Speaking of which, I'm going to be adding those patch notes on the bottom, so you'll see some characters that don't make it to this list, such as Luna Snow and Invisible Woman, who just received nerfs to their ult charge speed. Some other characters that meet that criteria as well. But lastly here, we have just some, again, me just showing off his shield throws and whatnot. It's nothing really too special going on with Cap. So we're going to move on to the next here is going to be Doctor Strange, who received a nerf in his health. Now this is something that I understand why they did, just because people already struggle to destroy his shield. So when it is broken, it's nice when they have a little extra, so you actually might be able to punish him for poor shield management. But he never really was too big on the Gamma team up list, so I don't really see too many people who try to ban Thor's in hopes of Doctor Strange not being picked. You pick Doctor Strange because he's good on his own, not because of a lousy team up. But moving on to Groot, they made a change to his walls. It slightly increases the distance that his thorns will hit someone from his thorn walls. Now, I personally do not see much of a difference in what was changed from this team up here. I'm sorry, team up, this buff here, as I'm not really a Groot main, so maybe you Groot mains out there will be able to spot the difference, but I don't see it. As you can see from this second wall here, it's a little bit further from that one. It still isn't hitting, so you still have to have these walls pretty close. So, I mean, it's nice for them to try to do something to get more people to play Groot, but yeah, I don't know if that's going to make me want to play him anymore. I'll say that much. Next up is Magneto. Now, Magneto, his buff hair is very hard to spot. This is again is the before clip here. As you can see, when it's single charged or even with the second level, it's not a big boost of damage. It is on the third level, in addition to that knockback. So the third level always did have, you know, that little bit of extra going on to it. But the big buff here is the fact that extra damage really helps with his combo, as you previously would have had to shoot two of his primaries and then a volley and then a last primary to finish them off. Now you could just do 2 volleys, and then third level is volley, and to finish someone off, or a combination of those. So that's going to be huge for Magneto. They did, however, nerf how long he can hold his shield up. So you've seen the before early on. This is going to be the after. So definitely a huge nerf to survivability. But again, like Strange, Magneto is super high up on a pick rate and win rate, so they had to do something to rein him in a little bit. Next is Venom. They did a change to his dive strike. It always kind of lifted people up and kind of towards Venom, but they actually kind of giga buff that now. So it just straight up just flings them straight towards Venom when he doesn't now. And I've already seen some crazy Venoms out there that even I had to give props in the chat because they were literally scary to play against. So I imagine Venom mains are really going to be able to go crazy with this. I'll try Venom out myself, but I've never had any good luck with Venom. I rarely do good with him. I haven't done great with him since the beta, hence the cool blue skin I got as a kind of a nod that I played the beta there. So again, I can't wait to see what Venoms can do with this, and I just pray they're on my team when I might get them. Next we have Thor here. Thor's changes here, it has to do with his awakened state. Now, it took me a bit of playing around the testing range to really be able to see this one, but as you can see, there's a bit of a delay after you get out your awakened state before you can charge or do whatever abilities. Now, that is completely absent, so as soon as you drop your rune, you'll be able to immediately charge right out of it, assuming, again, you have the charges from your Thor Force to do it. Now, moving straight on to Bruce Banner, they just simply nerfed his health. Again, these are things that they did to get people to stop banning Banner permanently in comp. It's like a joke how much people ban him for the whole Gamma team up when all it really does is stop Strange from being anti. The extra damage is very little, and it's more so to buff Iron Man, which we will get into later. But getting on to Widow here, they made some changes to her ultimate. I'm not sure whether they made it so they get slowed down even more, or if they slow down slightly less for the buff they're giving to her. But regardless, they also increased their ammo capacity. So as you can see, if you hit them with it, whether it's a headshot or body shot, generally you'll be able to kill them. However, the changes now, in addition to, like I said, the changes in slowing down, you also make them vulnerable, which doesn't do anything to someone that's already been hit with it. They're going to die regardless. However, when you hit someone, as I'm going to show here, such as a tank with the ultimate, giving them that extra bit of vulnerability really helps burst them down, as generally hitting them with the actual blast, a headshot, and then a follow-up shot, whether it's a body or a head, will get them. But I really want to see what people could do when they attack supports in a defensive ult, as you should be able to headshot them and kill them out of their ult, as long as you get rid of, let's say, Luna's a bonus health there. So going into Hawkeye, they decreased his cooldown for his slash, so it's going to be 12, going down from 15. In addition, they made some changes to his arrow, but all they really did was give it like 2 extra bit of damage. So you're not really going to notice that. As you've seen there with the Moon Knight, it made no difference in the kill time for him. You still had to hit him about 3 arrows or 2 arrows in like a slash. The ultimate, they made the draw speed faster, but I didn't notice a difference whatsoever in that one. So again, these are nice little changes they made to Hawkeye in order to boost him back up there, as him and Hela went from being perma-banned to no one even using them even in quick play. So it'd be nice to see some variety, as I really don't think their nerfs on them are that heavy. It's just people kind of really more so gravitate to Storm, who will receive some nerfs here herself, which we'll be getting into sooner rather than later. But again, we'll see what this does for Hawkeye. I've seen people playing around with him and Widow, but not like a ton. But again, we'll see how that changes in the coming weeks here of this season. So Hela, I messed up here. I didn't realize the Night Sword Thorn was her primary. I thought it was her secondary, so you see me messing around her secondary. What they actually did was they changed Hela from her current fall-off values to her alpha fall-off values, which, by the way, Hela was completely broken during the alpha, and as a result, Hela is back to being a sniper. So you see from Luna Snow here, I'm able to 2-tap her from what should be the fall-off distance. And then you see down there from people who are 100% in the fall-off distance, I'm able to 2-tap them. Now, it doesn't make a difference with Jeff, as his headshot reduction passive definitely saves him here. Even at close range, you see in the first clip to the second here, you're still going to have to hit him 3 times to take him out, so Jeff is safe from Hela being able to burst him down. But getting into Iron Fist, you see some major changes. I think the primary reason for this is, again, to stop people from perma-banning characters and give them a reason to ban characters that make sense, whether it be for your comp or if the enemy seems unlucky enough to know who's on the other team. But regardless, they have redistributed Iron Fist's power, so now instead of him just being the squishy buster, he is a bit more less of a squishy killer, and he has some of that power shift into his ability to take out tank, which he, as you can see with Groot here, he definitely suffered from. Now his ultimate doesn't really see much of a change here at all. As you can see, I have time to even switch out characters during Iron Fist, actually rather long ult, and I still am able to take out a full health Groot with his ultimate all in one go. So we also have the changes to his meditation. I forgot to show the previous version of it, but all it really did was heal you up and allow you to get 50 extra bonus health. Now you get up to 450 bonus health, but it starts to decay immediately, whereas it stayed permanently. So we have some comparisons here of Iron Fist beating down characters. The default skin is the before, the lunar skin is the after, and you can even see me adding in the low health and the kick there as well, so you can see just how his time to kill is. And as you can see here with the Groot, which I made sure to make the test dummy of twice in the previous and after, just by default, his time to kill on Groot is still pretty bad. However, when you add into the extra kick at the end, it adds a little bit of that extra burst damage to take him out a little sooner, but for the most part, you're going to want to take out a tank with his rapid punches, as that's where the real burst damage come from. As the before, I had to add some extra punches in. The after, I could do it all in one go with his, again, his block extra speed punches there. Now, when it comes to the ultimate, again, I said it before, I'm going to say it now, it doesn't really make much of a difference. You kind of just melt everything in his ultimate, even more so now. You even be able to see other people's videos showing off Hulk in his monster form being taken out very fast with Iron Fist's ultimate. So again, especially this ultimate, he's very scary. He'll be able to kill anything in his path, so you definitely want to run from him when you hear cheaper town hall, as everyone likes to meme that he says. But I'm very much looking forward to people breaking out Iron Fist and comp. I've had one game yesterday where people banned both Wolverine and Iron Fist, and sure enough, they ran a triple tank comp, which they destroyed us in, which didn't help by the fact that people were salty to see Human Torch in comp so soon, and they refused to heal the Human Torch because he didn't listen to them when they said don't use them, it's too soon, and we of course got destroyed that game, although I kind of also blame my tank. He was diving them and failing, and then as a result we had a Captain America and a Scarlet dive in our back line. But irrelevance, going on to Iron Man here. They made some significant changes to Iron Man. This is going to be the before on the damage values of not only just his unit beam, his armor overdrive unit beam, but his gamma unit beam. He just does disgusting DPS now in his armor overdrive, so you really don't need the gamma team up for Iron Man. He can stand all on his own, and in fact, they nerfed the gamma team up so much to the point that it's hilarious that people are still banning Bruce Banner. At this point, I can't tell if they're banning because they think Hulk is strong, or they're trying to do the gamma team up, because as you'll see in just a moment here, the gamma team up only adds 10 extra damage to his unibeam. Now, it might be a little placebo, but I felt like I seen it here from the clip I'm showing. But when I break out the armored overdrive in a second, you'll be able to see that he just completely melts with his armored overdrive. Now, he always did, in my opinion, but he just really does now. And I actually had to go back and get an extra clip of me doing it on tanks, as I really wanted to kind of show just how lethal it can be to characters. Again, it's going to completely delete squishies. I'll let you guys play this back and forth and tell whether you can see the difference between the armored overdrive and the gamma. But again, his normal unibeam doesn't do too much. Groot isn't two-phased. Unless Groot's literally just sitting here taking like the dummy is here, he'll be able to do something about Iron Man. I'll easily kill him in this situation. However, when it comes to the armor overdrive, again, to a tank, unless they're completely caught out, they'll be able to definitely kill him before he takes them out, but it's more so for squishies. Iron Man is really super lethal with now. Going into Magic, she received a strange nerf to her demon. I'm not sure who was complaining about her demon of all things in her kit, but going from the before and after, again, it's not going to be much of a difference here from the 72 per second we have now to the 80 it was before. Mr. Fantastic, or at least 350 health characters like him and Wolverine, they're really going to see the difference here. As if for some reason, if you're standing still taking it, the demon will just barely not kill you, as where it just barely killed you before. However, I want to mention the demon and Dark Child has not been changed, so as you can see, that it still could kill Mr. Fantastic before and after here, with a little bit of margin actually for some extra damage there. So I also want to just point out that doing this to a tank is definitely not a bad idea. If you have a very defensive Doctor Strange, you shoot the demon out and start swinging on him with some of your other attacks, you're definitely able to make him fold over like a cardboard box here. But going into Mr. Fantastic, again, that was the before. His bump now has an extra boop effect, which definitely makes sense. You have that guy puffing his chest out at you, you should definitely be knocked back. But the changes we have to his ultimate, which are very controversial, they changed it from 50 per bounce, with it being scaled by an additional 10 per bounce after chaining the bounces. Is now 70 per bounce, again with that still 10% extra going on to it. So as you can see here, when you're bouncing on top of Invisible Woman here, no innuendos, I didn't mean that. You could take her out in under 4 bounces there. But then going to the training test dummies, although there's a little bit of fall off damage to the bounces now, I personally think just overall raw extra damage to it definitely will help out. The biggest changes to Mr. Fantastic to me is the fact that the cooldown for his little flexible elongation is increased. And speaking of increased, they increased the damage on Moon Knight's ult here, but the talents fall down much slower. I think that's to fix the bug to go with it, where sometimes it was dealing extra damage. So as long as that's fixed, the double damage is fine. But the biggest change to Scarlet Witch here is her Notorious Pure Chaos, which I barely wanted to show, but it gives her a little extra bonus health. So hopefully that'll be enough to get people to be more aggressive with her ult, because Scarlet Witches that do her ult so defensively hits no one with it is just pathetic. But the ones that go in just get melted or CC'd are even worse. But moving on to Spider-Man here, they increase his uptime here by allowing his webs to recharge a little faster, so hopefully this will keep Spider-Man into the fight, as Spider-Man without his cooldowns is useless and kind of forced to retreat until he has something he can go in with. Star-Lord, they increased the amount of fuel he has for his jet boots, so this is the before, and then after here you'll be able to see he can fly for days. However, fear not, they did not increase the recharge time on his fuel, so although he can fly for a long time, it's still going to be quite a bit of time before he can fly again. But going on to the creme de la creme here, we have Storm. This is the before here of Storm, and they did a damage reduction to her lightning boost here, so she isn't going to be as affected by the damage ability, whereas her allies, they're going to be seeing a bit of a damage boost. Now I'm not able to really show that off here. In hindsight, I should have actually grabbed my friends that was playing around with a training test earlier with Cap and seeing if they could help me with this test. But you really see here with the after just how much her fall off damage here just took a major L, where she was able to take down people generally around 5 to 6. Now you have her taking people out in 7 shots here when she's in her speed boost, and then it's going to take a whopping it took 8 in her win and then takes 7 in her damage. So you're gonna find that unless you have your damage, or what is it, Godage boost here, which really increases the damage, that she's not going to be able to do much from a range. However, when you get up close, surprisingly, a lot has even changed with that, as again, this is the before. She took out people at around 4 to 5, but now it's going to be just a solid 4 hits and a solid 5 hits, whether it's damage or not. Whereas when you do the Goddess boost, again, there's no difference. She still melts in all her forms. So hopefully this does a little bit to Storm, but the fact that they kind of added Human Torch to that ridiculous Omega Fire, you know, you're still gonna see Storm permadam, so not much has changed her at all, even though she's not too crazy on her own now. But going on to Adam Warlock, they did some crazy changes to his DPS. So this is the before, but when we get into the after, you really get to see just how much has changed. As he still takes 2 headshots and a body shot or a headshot to kill someone, but from a distance, that's where things really changes. As it took around 5 headshots to be able to take someone out before, and then 10 headshots from a distance. But now you'll be able to see that from a distance, he takes 4 headshots to take someone out, and then about 7 body shots. This little burst here is just to finish that training test dummy off, so I could use him again. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think his volley ever had fall off damage, so I don't really think anything really changes from that damage wise. I think it's just his primary. But they also did a little buff to the soul bond. It used to heal at 10 per second, now it does 15. It's not really going to make much of a difference, as I had to add that little fella me trying to show this off here. But again, besides being able to use it as a kind of a bit of a secondary ult to help stop ults like Star-Lords or Hellas from team wiping your allies, again, that little extra healing's not doing much. So going on to Cloak here, they did a change to Cloak where his Shroud does a little bit of extra vertibility, going from 20 to 28, but I don't really see too much of a difference from Cloak, so maybe it'll really impact your allies taking out vulnerable targets. I could definitely say the people who are already complaining about the thing, Cloak definitely helps take him out. Is whenever he dives the back line, which a brawler shouldn't be doing, whether he has a charge or not, usually you put that Cloak on him, you and your team are be able to easily melt the thing and before he can get away. So keep that in mind, as I've definitely had people who lost skins because they don't want to interact with the thing. And getting on to a dagger here, I'm showing off now. Again, the Shroud does nothing for her. She has and still is terrible at dueling people, to the point that the first clip I had a 250 health training dummy, and then going to a visible one that made no difference. I still had to add a kick at the end to take her out. But going on to her ult, which is the biggest change here, which is good because people who seriously thought they needed to ban Cloak and Dagger with Luna Snow would have to support cast have defensive ult, so you can't get away from them. Hopefully this will get them to stop banning them, because there's no reason to ban them. They take longer to ult now, in addition to that they don't stack. However, they do zoom around a lot with their ult, and their turning radius is a lot better, so hopefully that helps with that ultimate, as I definitely can't say I hate the stacking of the Shrouds in one little tiny spot there, Cloak and Dagger. Now you being able to be more aggressive, just make a bigger path, I think will make that overall more impactful. And I'm showing off Mantis here because the leaked patch notes claimed she was going to get to a nerf to her ultimate where you don't get as much bonus health. Again, that was the before, this is the after. There is no change to Mantis. She did not receive any nerfs at all, so this is why you don't always want to follow leaks, as you do not know what is real until it actually comes into the game. Now, one thing I do know is real, besides the Loki in the middle here, is that they have buffed Loki. Surprisingly, you'd think he would have got a nerf. Well, actually, no, they did. They nerfed how fast he get his ult, but the compensation buff they gave his, now he has 2 extra shots here in his mystical missiles, they call them. So that is very good for Loki here. Definitely help his uptime, as now he can shoot a lot more shots before he has to reload. Now going into team ups, we have Luna Snow. I'm not sure if I got the clips mixed up or what, but I'm not seeing any difference really in how much she heals from her Atlas bond here. In fact, the second clip I'm showing, it looks like it was a little less. So going into the fact that it's supposed to add an extra slowdown, this is something I have to see in game, as I don't think the training test dummies react right to her attack. As if you notice there, it kind of like it just straight up stopped. So I don't know what that's really gonna do. But going into the Magic team up with Black Panther and Psylocke, this is something people claim this was going to be a nerf, but it's 100% a buff. As you'll be able to see here in both instances, they definitely get more health from the recall ability here from Magic. So this would definitely be great when you team up with Magic with these guys, as although people tend to split up when they team up with Magic and do their own thing, if you going together, especially with this extra uptime you get from a team up, you'll really be able to just destroy the back line and hopefully punish people who still think the triple support thing is going to save you against a really good team. Now moving on, we have the Moon Knight team up. Previously, the Moon Knight team up only just made you invisible. However, I also want to mention, if you hit Moon Knight, it takes about its invisibility for a little bit, kind of like with Psylocke. Now, when he's inside his cloak of invisibility, he'll be able to heal himself in addition to making himself invisible. So this definitely helps Moon Knight be a little bit more dependent. Now, I unfortunately did not have enough time in my clip here for the Spider-Man and Penny team up, but I'll let you guys be the judge of how effective the invulnerability is now. And thank you guys all so much for watching.